Well,
doing that.
I mean, I don't know. Do you want to talk about that? Or you know,
It doesn't. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's so long ago, and
I mean, listen. In all honesty, I felt terrible. You guys were really good friends, and you had me on a lot, and I felt terrible about it.
It wasn't. Believe me, it was. You had as much to do with it. Either had as much to do with it or had as little to do with it as everyone else.
Listen, the bottom line was
a community effort.
I was partly responsible. And I've always said that. I've only talked about this once really publicly, but because that was the other thing. Like, a lot of people, like, especially when it happened.
Yeah, you caught a lot of shit.
I got chased around the fucking courthouse because I got arrested.
By Opie?
By the post. You took my show! And then when he would get tired, Jim would chase me.
Yes, like, Jim would chase you. And
anyway, long story short, it was like... you know, for me, you know, a lot of people, like, it was all me. And I'm like, hey, I wasn't the management. I didn't come up with it. I didn't approve it. I didn't, you know, whatever. My mistake was when I went in the church. Like, I did it outside the church, and then everybody's like, come on, go in the church. And I'm the kind of kid, when I was growing up, like, if you told me to throw the rock at the cop car, I'm throwing the rock at the cop car, right?
Yeah. And that's what we were looking for. Look, you didn't do anything that we weren't looking for. We wanted the publicity. We wanted the outrageousness. And, you know, you did exactly. If you didn't and came back to the studio, we'd have probably been like, oh, you should have went in. And
well, that, you know, honestly, that was the thing that made me go in, was because I know you guys would find out, and we used to call it putting somebody in the barrel, and you'd put me in the barrel and bust my balls, and I'd lose credibility.
That was how the show
worked. So I'm gonna
go
in, and I really thought, like, because I knew the cops were friends, I thought, you know, I'll go in. And we were very discreet about it, and then we left. And I think there was this misconception that I stayed around on the steps waiting for the cops to come. No, a cop came up to us on the steps of the thing and said, look, we listen to Opie and Anthony. We know what's going on. The mayor's office is not crazy about this contest. And I actually think it goes back to, and I'm not passing the buck, but the Voyeur bus, like, I think you guys maybe started to get the cops aware in a way, in a different way, and they're like, you know what, they're kind of putting it in our face a little bit. So the cops said, just get out of here. So we walked away, and we were 3 blocks away, and the cops found us, started talking, and then I jawboned with them because I thought that was good radio.
Right.
And you guys were liking it.
Good radio was the top priority.
Yeah,
it wasn't the safety of anything or anybody. We wanted good fucking radio, and it was good. It was compelling. It was controversial. It was
fucking radio station. I had to go talk to the Did I ever tell you that story? I had to go and talk to the GM of the station.
Really?
I sat in fucking jail all night. Now I'm a lawyer, and I worked at a big fucking law firm, and I know that these guys have access to fucking lawyers, right? And that couple sat in jail all night, and that guy was a recovering heroin addict. He was on methadone, and they took his methadone, and all of a sudden an ambulance shows up, and who is it? It's my guy getting fucking rushed to the hospital. Like, every shit storm that could happen was happening, right?
Yep.
And then they brought us into a little room, like this big heavy-set guy, like Sharip, right? And he goes, you think that's funny? Like an Italian Catholic, like, going into the thing. I'm like, yeah, you know. And then he goes, so listen, we won't charge you if you tell us where Opie and Anthony, like, what were they doing? I'm like, I'm not ratting out my friends. Nobody got murdered here.
Right.
I go, look, it was a show thing. It was sanctioned by the, I don't know.
I popped your fucking eye out for Opie and Anthony.
Yeah, exactly. So just to finish this, and then we can move on. So it's like fucking 7 o'clock in the morning, and I call my wife. She goes, "What the fuck happened?"
What the fuck, right?
CNN is here. They're slipping shit under the door.
Yeah.
I go, well, she goes, "You did what?" And I'm by the way, at the time I was an usher in my church, right?
Oh, right? Shit.
And so I'm like, this fucking network, this fucking radio station is gonna hang me out to dry. And I went, and I said to them, I met with the GM. And I said, why didn't you send a lawyer to get us out of there? Why was I sitting in jail from 5 o'clock in the afternoon to 7 o'clock in the morning? Well, you know, I go, don't fucking jerk me around. You are one of the biggest radio conglomerates in the world. Every fucking lawyer in the world is in the city. You make one phone call, you send somebody down. I had to go to my own arraignment, and so did these hicks from West Virginia. I said, so you're going to get me a lawyer? He goes, well, I go, no, this is what's going to happen. I have a shit ton of press that wants to talk to me, and I'm going to go back, and I'll just basically start with, they were filming somebody getting blown before the show. I don't know if you remember that. And
I don't know if you remember that part. Let me think back. And the blowjob before the St. Pat's.
And all that. And he goes, all right, we get it. And then, you know, it was what it was. But anyway, so I felt bad. You guys were always good guys.
It was.
But you got back on the air.
It was nuts, man. It was just nuts.
Oh, people would send me every August for like a couple of years. I'd get like, you fucking ruined it for everybody.
Yeah.
And my thing was always man up. Like, man up and take fucking responsibility. You can't say it was all me. I didn't come up with it.
Of course not.
But you were in the thick of it. And I think even you and Jim and Opie, in your mind, said to yourself, Mecurio, if it was just... And I can get that.
No, there were 20 to 30 what-ifs that played out in my head. Obviously, you were one of them. But the whole, everyone, me and Opie, hey, we had to pick up the fucking phone. We had to continue the call after we heard. I had to not dump when I thought, but we all didn't do the responsible thing to keep our jobs.
But and that's what, and I felt bad because you guys had a great show, and I definitely contributed to that show getting pulled off the air, and I'll always admit that. But it wasn't just me, and and we worked our stuff out, and we're fine, and we're all good. And you kind of move on, and everybody's going to be an adult about it, and like it's like fuck, like shit happens, and so but it's fine now. But like, and that's why I never did any press about it.
Right.
No, because I didn't want people to think, because I wasn't going to do that I was going to try to get my 15 minutes of fame on the back of your show getting canceled. And trust me, I could have fucking whatever. And I never did anything. I wouldn't talk about it.
Anybody to talk about.
Anyway,
talk about it. But yeah, that was many years ago. And like I said, the Pope's here.
But we got to go do that.
We shouldn't even be talking about this while the Pope is going to be.
We got to fucking do that,
at St. Pat's. Yeah, we should go down there, take a picture. Hi, everybody.
Just bend over. We'll put a wig on you.
Yeah. Remember this Pope? Oh, my God.